And then I get all these emails about common law and saying I'm not going to engage in a contract with like these guys. Guys, these aren't real things. I mean, I can pass it on to the lawyers if you want, and they can lose in court. People in Australia have already tried this. It's not a real thing. And then this group goes and lies and says, "Oh, people are getting out of tickets by saying by citing common law, and I will not engage into this contract." Guys, these aren't real things. You have to stop holding on to like these fantasy things because they're just not reality. Like actual fighting things in court. That's what you actually have to do. Human rights tribunals. Those are the actual things. They're way more difficult and time consuming. I understand that, but you can't put your faith in these groups because they don't actually care. They're just trying to be famous and make a quick buck and get some PR out there. So personally, you can do what you do. It doesn't matter to me. I'm not mad at anybody, but I wouldn't trust these groups, and I wouldn't trust anybody telling you that you can use common law or say that you don't engage into a contract to fight these fines or fight any charges you have against you, because it's just not going to work. Sorry.
Hello, today I'm making this video about Rebel News' current stance on common law and their two attempts, because now they have two attempts / content they put out addressing common law, and both are basically saying it doesn't work. So let's go ahead and look and see what they think doesn't work or does work. There's a website called, Ezra addresses two things in this video: Magna Carta and common law. He calls Magna Carta theory, and he says that he saw somebody using Magna Carta. He doesn't know where. It was just a tattoo shop owner. The only thing I could find of a tattoo shop owner addressing common law was in the UK itself, the birthplace of Magna Carta. So it might actually apply there. He doesn't state if Magna Carta is in effect. He doesn't state if Magna Carta is just a piece of paper. He doesn't state if there's ever been any success in modern time using Magna Carta. He doesn't address what it is, what's in it. He just says it's a theory. He also addresses that he knows common law exists. It gives life to law, which is actually contrary to legal, which is based in dead maritime corporate fiction. So let's see what he has to say.
These Magna Carta lawful rebellion cases have been litigated. They have gone to court.
So he says that Magna Carta lawful rebellion cases have gone to court and they have been litigated.
They haven't just lost. They have lost and been thrashed and trounced and denounced.
So I urge you to go to www.magnacartacanada.ca, because there is a website that actually addresses Magna Carta. And if he says people using Magna Carta in court have been thrashed, trashed, and denounced, I mean, at what point does losing in court constitute the end of you losing, and now you're open to being thrashed and denounced and trounced? I mean, I figured losing in court was bad enough, but now apparently if you lose in court using your own logical reasoning and practices, reaching for old documents that when you read it should stand the test of time as being correct, because Magna Carta is a pretty good document. He says now you're open to being thrashed, trashed, and denounced, and it'll never work, because not only if you go using that as ammo, you're going to not only lose, but get thrashed, trashed, and denounced. And who wants both of those? Because I thought losing was bad enough, but now I have people like Ezra saying that there's other people out there that are going to thrash, trash, and denounce me for defending myself.
And so if you are propagating these conspiracy theories of how to talk to cops and judges with this legal gibberish.
So there's straight up a term called legalese, which describes a language used by lawyers that common men and women do not understand. They can't just read it and get it, right? He's a lawyer with the bar, and if you know anything about conspiracies, One of the apex conspiracies is the Justinian deception, in which they steal your name with an unlawful conversion, and then they leverage that your entire life in a conspiracy to keep you in a maritime jurisdiction. And lawyers and the bar and judges propagate this conspiracy themselves, talking to police and judges with legalese, which has magic abilities to keep them off your back as long as you pay the lawyers. And people going outside of that are now propagating conspiracies.
You are instructing people who need help in a path that will lead to their legal destruction.
So, like I just acknowledged, there's legalese and then there's people using common law. And the people, in his perspective, propagating common law Magna Carta will lead to their legal destruction. But using a lawyer will not lead to legal destruction, or at least it lessens the chances.
You know, thinking that the moon landing never happened, thinking that the Earth is flat, thinking that the moon videos are faked, not a lot of bad things can come from that other than people think you're either joking or that you're unusual.
Okay, so if I believe in these 3 conspiracy theories, which he establishes at the beginning of the video to get me or the viewer into the mindset that these 3 are conspiracy theories that are so fact that they have been disproven, he brings them in to establish a base of what makes an absolutely disproven conspiracy theory. So if you are an average man or woman who has not reinvestigated the moon landing, who has not reinvestigated the globe, who has not reinvestigated videos of the moon being fake, if you haven't done that, maybe in your mind and in your paradigm and in your world, they are disproven facts. They're ridiculous. You can scoff them off. Anybody who brings any contrary evidence can be scoffed off because science has disproven these things concretely. So he is establishing this paradigm. And apparently, if you think about them, you are either joking or you're just unusual. Now, when I look outside my door, I see people, or at my window, I see people standing on the side of the street with a chemical-laden mask, denying themselves oxygen. I can't stand next to people 6 feet. There's no concerts. There's no easy access to restaurants. I get denied entering places because I'm not outwardly casting my acceptance of slavery and denial of oxygen. I would rather believe and reinvestigate these 3 conspiracies, such as the moon landing hoax, the Earth being flat, which is true, and the videos of the moon being fake, which I don't know about because I haven't reinvestigated it myself. I would take the unusual tag any second of the day versus just believing what I'm told.
You know, really, nothing terrible is going to happen.
Nothing terrible happens. And I'd agree with that, because upon reinvestigation of this thing, of these conspiracies, I realized how bad the indoctrination is. And that's not very bad, having some re-enlightened perspective on indoctrination.
But I should say that there are some conspiracy theories out there that terrible things do happen if you believe them. And one of them that I've been...
there are some conspiracies out there that terrible things happen if you believe them. Like believing in your corporate fiction identity created by the government and then perpetuated by lawyers, the bar, and judges. That's a lot of negative consequence.
Thinking about lately.
And he's been thinking about this, whatever he's about to bring up, which is common law. And I don't know if he mentions Magna Carta right here, but he brings up common law as the conspiracy he's been thinking about. It has nothing to do with the fact that hundreds of people are emailing him to do communication with Christopher James from Warrior Calls, who is leading the common law charge here in Canada. He was just thinking about common law. It has nothing to do with this. And his employee, Andrew, putting out a video saying common law doesn't work, apparently didn't reach him, and he was thinking about it. It had nothing to do with Andrew from Rebel News bringing up common law All right, that he was thinking about it. He didn't say here. Andrew was mentioning common law. He put out a video, and now I've been thinking about it. And he was just thinking about it by himself.
Is this kind of conspiracy theory that...
And now he established that there were 3 concrete disproven conspiracy theories, such as the fake moon landing, flat Earth, and fake moon videos. And now he walks back that claim as it's now a kind of conspiracy common law. He puts you in that room, and now you're in a kind of room.
believes you can defend yourself against lockdown tickets using a homemade mishmash of legal jargon that is referred to improperly as common law. I know what common law is.
So he knows what common law is, and he says that it's a kind of conspiracy that you can fight lockdown tickets, which are a conspiracy in themselves because it breaks all these fundamental rights. The fact that I even have our COVID lockdown ticket in my hand is a conspiracy in and itself.
Common law is the body of law that's developed over the years by courts as opposed to statutory law, which is laws written and passed by a legislature.
So he says common law is just some things that we establish over time in courts. I'm going to roll a clip of what Christopher James from A Warrior Calls says is common law, so you can get the other side of this story.
Words to know and master. These are the 3 most powerful words you can learn: property, trespass, and who. Property. Property is your rights. It's your flesh, your blood, your land, your house, your car, your boat, etc. Any and all material things. Any and all things that we create. Our children are our property until they are adults. Your spouse or your husband. Yes, because they're exclusive to you when you marry them. You are each other's property. Your hopes, your dreams, your beliefs, your court claims, all court paperwork, anything exclusive to us is your property, and you only use that word. Trespass. There's 2 types of trespass. One is a trespass that's an unlawful conversion of our names: fraud, theft, extortion, breach of contract, physical harm, threats, damage or loss of property, collusion, barratry. That's what the bar is committing to all the people today. And personage is the act that occurred when your name was unlawfully converted. Stalked, terrorized, harassed, all of that is a trespass. Trespass on the case. This occurs at the public courthouse when one of the court officers, clerks, judges, or staff trespass on your court paperwork. Words to know and master. Who. This is one of the most powerful words you must learn every single time when you're being faced with any of these crown courts. Who. Who claim I property? Who claims wrong or harm? Who is claiming breach of contract? Who is moving this court? Whose law is before this court? Whose common law is before this court? Yes, there are different common laws in various different countries. Who claims debt be due and true? Who wrote this document? Who is not a what or a thing? Fictions. What we the people never do. We never use legal words. Never access a courthouse with legal forms. You never use a lawyer to represent you. You never allow a court clerk to trespass. You never allow a crown court jurisdiction. Never use their codes, rules, or case law. Never consent or understand if asked. Never act other than a man or a woman. And never let fear enter your heart. Deceit with words. Represent. Break that word down. Represent. A lawyer, liar, represents a woman as a legal persona. Civil means Roman law. It doesn't stand for being civil to each other when you're in their courts. And if the court you're in is moving under the rules of civil procedure, that court is a legal proceeding, and you're in the wrong jurisdiction. How we act at all times. We act honorably, respectfully, courageously, with love, but most importantly, as master, not servant.
Common law is wonderful. It gives life to law, and it incorporates local customs and nuances. It's different.
So common law gives life to law almost as it's opposed to dead law, like legalese, like legal, maritime, fiction. It's different. It has local nuance as opposed to blanket corporate dictations of authority.
In different jurisdictions. It's written down in the books. It can be appealed to other judges. Common law
Is written in the books, which means it's a matter of record, but he doesn't state any records in which you can go find out about common law yourself.
is the life of the law.
It's the life of the law. If we want life, maybe we should go use common law and not dead legal fiction law. Legalese.
It itself is corrected occasionally by statute law and vice versa in a way.
In a way, it's kind of corrected by statute law, kind of in a way.
But what I'm talking about is a fake homemade mishmash that says you don't have to listen to the courts.
So he's talking about the homemade mishmash, because apparently homemade mishmash doesn't taste good when your mom makes homemade mishmash. Only when you go to a lawyer does mishmash of legal and lawful become effective, because homemade furniture is good, homemade food is good, homemade clothing is good, homemade homes are good, but when it comes to homemade defense in court, that's not good. And he says right here, you don't have to go listen to courts, because that's what these charlatans are pushing, that you don't have to listen to courts. Well, in the 2D world of the Justinian deception and going up into court with my driver's license or my birth certificate, they don't have to listen to me anyways, because I'm showing up as a dead person on paper, and they don't have to consider anything I say or do, because I'm dead.
Just declare yourself a free man of the land.
So declaring yourself a free man of the land, you technically don't actually have to declare yourself. You only have to have an internal realization that you are free, that you are a man of the land. It's just a fact. Look at me, I'm sitting right here. Look at my eyes. Are you looking at me, or are you looking at a piece of paper? You're looking at me. That's what it means to be a man of the land. Flesh and blood, living right here. When you walk into court, I'm not holding this is me, this is who I'm showing up as. No. I'm showing up as me right here. Not this thing that's attached to all these legals, all these legal things that they're going to bring in, these acts, mandates. I'm looking at you.
Cite Article 61 in the Magna Carta.
Go to Magna Carta. I'm going to get that link for you again. I'm just going to say it. www.magnacartacanada.ca. So you can go read Section 61 yourself, because he's not providing any actual context as to what that is. He's just saying it's some theory.
Say you're in. It's like the Magna Carta theory that you can be in lawful rebellion against the state and not have to go to the courts.
He says you don't have to go to the courts if you're in lawful rebellion. I don't know about that part, but if they gave me a chance to go into court to really state my case and be heard and seen, yeah, I'd go there. Why not? Why not? I'll go into the courts. But if the state or the government is acting unlawful, which they are right now, pushing fear, pushing lies, pushing all this crap, running propaganda on their news sources 24/7, why wouldn't I be engaging in lawful rebellion? Honorably, peacefully. I'm just going to call it out. I'm not going out there shooting people. I'm just engaging in what's called civil disobedience. Civil, and I'm using civil in this manner as the word to be polite and honorable and non-forceful.
The problem with that is that some people latch on to that theory because they either can't afford a lawyer.
So he says, we're going to keep it going here.
Or are desperate, or stressed out, or just it's their, silver bullet. They think this is the miracle that's going to save me.
So he points out 4 things in which you would turn to common law. Money, that you can't afford a lawyer, aka him. You're desperate, you're in fear, and you need a miracle. Those 3 things create a chain of intention which puts the man or woman going to common law or Magna Carta in a state of despair, fear, tunnel vision. They can't think for themselves. They can't think logically because they're desperate. They're in fear. I don't have money. I don't have any of this. No security. I'm secure. I'm standing here. I'm calm. I'm rational. Go listen to Christopher James' arguments on common law, what it means. Go to www.magnacartacanada.ca and read it yourself. If it makes sense and you're not in fear, then maybe you're falling into this category in which he's attempting to put you. That you don't have money, you're in fear, you're desperate, you need a miracle to get you out. He's putting you in a box.
And I have seen probably a dozen videos over the last year of people in jeopardy for a lockdown law violation.
Lockdown law violation, it's all violating our rights in the first place. So how can we violate something that was created out of thin air without our say, without our vote? It was just pushed on us. How can we violate something that is so obviously violating everything? As far as I'm concerned, I'm in the right, because I'm not walking out there hurting or harming anybody. The evidence is out there that it's a total fraud. So that's a chain of intention. I'm not harming anybody. There's fraud everywhere. Then what's the natural progression here?
Who, instead of saying, I'm going to lawyer up.
Lawyer up. That's the only defense. It's the only one. Just lawyer up. Status quo. Lawyer up.
They reach for this homemade Magna Carta legal theory.
Magna Carta legal theory. Watch me reach. www.warriorcalls.com, www.magnacartacanada.ca. Uh-oh, I was reaching right there, guys.
That is pushed by hucksters or people who themselves have been duped. And again, I don't...
Has he been duped by the bar? Does he know what he's doing? Is he a huckster? Is he projecting? Is Christopher James from A Warrior Calls a huckster? Are the people who made the website, www.magnacartacanada.ca, pushing fraud, are they hucksters? That's for you to decide, not for him to tell you who is a huckster.
I don't care if you want to hold a belief system in your head that is unusual or wrong.
So he talks about holding something in your head that is unusual or wrong. So he is now an arbiter of what is right and wrong. He's saying he doesn't care, but the idea of saying people are holding it in their head, as far as I'm concerned, only means that you're thinking about it, because thoughts can come and go. But the moment I say and materialize things in the real world, I'm creating something from my thoughts. I'm materializing them. And I agree. I don't care if you're thinking about stuff. I think about violence every day. Every day. But in my last 28 years of life, I have not committed any violence. I don't care if I'm thinking about violence, because I'm not materializing it. Right? That's what he's saying. He doesn't care.
Fill your boots.
Fill your boots.
But when you convince other people, families, business owners,
when you convince others,
people who are looking for help, when you convince them that these homemade legal theories will help them.
What about a homemade legal theory of the bar? Their homemade rules, right? The bar went home, they wrote up a bunch of crap, and then they dumped it on us and convinced us. Their theory of how we are, of who we are acting as, whether we're alive or dead. The Justinian deception is the conspiracy theory you're looking for. Go look at it.
You were doing a grave disservice to them.
So if he goes with his bar to their home and writes up a bunch of homemade bar mishmash legal theory and then pushes it on others, you're doing a disservice to them. Is Christopher James doing a disservice to Canada? Is he doing a disservice to Canada or others when he is propagating legal lies, legal theory, legal jargon, homemade mishmashes of the bar's interpretation of what it means to go to court?
Because they will all lose. And unlike you just having a conspiracy theory in your head, if these people act on the conspiracy theory, they could lose everything.
So he's saying that as the instant I tell somebody else that they don't need a driver's license because I had a thought in my head, licensing doesn't make sense, and then I said it, I materialized it in sound waves physically, the other man or woman is now instantly convinced, apparently, of my conspiracies. It has nothing to do with them. It has everything to do with me, that I shared this information. It had nothing to do with them consenting to the fact that the information was actionable or made sense. It's just my fault. And now we have victims everywhere.
They could lose their business. They could lose their personal liberty. These Magna Carta lawful rebellion cases have been litigated. They have gone to court.
So he's saying that you could lose your family and your business by acting on information you acquire yourself in a reasonable mindset right? Or maybe you're just running around in fear all the time and you just grasp at straws, and then you just go and you're just throwing stuff around. Like, he is creating a world where you have no intention, where you have no reason, where you have no understanding of what you're seeing. None of that makes sense. Just lawyer up, okay?
They haven't just lost. They have lost and been thrashed and trounced and denounced.
So, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, he is trying to make a paradigm in which losing in court now has extra punishment involved of being thrashed and denounced. By who? Who cares what they're saying? I went in there and I fought for myself with my own research, with my own mind and my own hands, almost like I'm acting as a creator, not some follower who's just letting a lawyer defend me or represent me.
And so if you
Who cares if they're thrashing and trancing me?
are propagating these conspiracy theories of how to talk to cops and judges,
If you propagate conspiracies about how to talk to cops and judges, like bar members and lawyers giving secret little hand signals to judges and them sharing pints over executing the third part of the Sateki Trust, in which they reap the souls of the dead lost at sea.
with this legal gibberish,
Legalese,
you are instructing people who need help.
you are instructing people. Nothing about providing info and then letting them create the world with the info. It's pure instruction. Christopher instructed me on how to use common law. He apparently did not say that once you learn this puts power in your hands. It's pure instruction, which means now I'm a follower, which means now I'm not creating anything. I'm just following somebody else's creation. Am I a creator or am I a follower?
In a path that will lead to their legal destruction.
Like a judge, it's leading to your legal destruction. Slam the gavel.
And that makes me mad and sad.
That I'm losing clients.
When I saw a tattoo guy, I think it was in Calgary,
He thinks there's a lead. He's a news reporter. If he was to go on the news and say, I think there was something that happened here, nobody would watch that news story. So why is he applying thinking and non-specific action here?
I forget the name of his tattoo shop, and the cops come for him.
So he forgets everything about the detail other than a tattoo shop in Calgary. So now I can't chase my own source, and I can't chase the lead of where he's getting this information from.
And he gives them like some homemade mishmash notice or something.
So he doesn't know what notice the tattoo shop owner is giving and serving the police. He doesn't know what's on it, but he has the gall to call it a legal mishmash. If he didn't read the notice, if he's a lawyer, if he went in court and said that his client was passing the police some sort of homemade notice of mishmash legal something, I'm not sure. Nobody would declare that as evidence. Nobody would declare that as a fact. Yet he's going to go and certify that it was useless and baseless, even though he hasn't seen it.
And it has no legal basis, and he's
No legal basis.
mouthing these lines that he heard online somewhere.
He's mouthing lines that he heard online somewhere. He was certifiably not mouthing things from Magna Carta, things from common law. It was something he heard online. That guy, who he doesn't know who he was, he doesn't know where he was, he doesn't know what he was serving the police, but he knows he was mouthing lines and just repeating things and following instructions from somebody. That guy clearly had no faculties to manage his own speech and say things that he knew to be true or false.
And the cop and the bylaw officers who are bullies, I accept that.
So bullies walk into this guy's shop and now he's defending himself.
I'm fighting them every way I can. He follows this pattern that he heard online about Magna Carta, this and that.
I just addressed this.
I don't contract with, and I thought, I don't contract.
Here, I need something more real.
I don't have anything else, but credits will do fine.
No, they won't.
Credits will do fine.
No, they won't. What, you think you're some kind of Jedi waving your hand around like that? I'm a Toydarian. My trick's gonna work on me. Only money.
Why does Ezra act like some sort of Jedi here? He waves his hand about contract. If you didn't know, the right to contract is one of the most important rights we have as people, as men and women. The right and knowledge and full disclosure of contract and who we contract with is an inalienable right. One of the fundamental, most important laws and things. Like, it's just so out there. You can't even, it's not that you can't, but it's hard to even elaborate how important it is. And he waves his hand as if it's some sort of, he's just trying to convince us that the right to contract is some sort of out there thing. Think about this. Your parents, and this is related to the Justinian deception, your parents signed the birth certificate stuff for you. You could say, oh, they're my guardians and whatever, so they knew it was right for me. But you were actually born without paper attached, which means at some point you were put into a contract without your consent, and now you are obligated for your whole life to perform because you just ended up in it under your parents' discretion. Your parents have no right to force you into a contract with a Masonic government corporation that lists you as chattel and makes money off of your ability to be taught and indoctrinated and forced to work and slave away to give them taxes to pay their debt. The right to contract is important. Don't wave your hand on that.
I thought this guy is going to lose his life savings. He's going to lose his life's dream. He's going to lose friends and family, because when you...
Life savings, dreams, friends, and family. This guy is acting like a judge. You lost your business. He hasn't lost yet. He served the police a notice. Is he in court? Did he get slammed? Nope. Sounds like he's prescribing guilty already. Number 2, he said his life's dream. What if his life's dream is to fight for himself and create his own world? And he uses Magna Carta as a part of that life dream. So he's definitely not losing it. As far as I'm concerned, he's holding on to it as long as he can. When he himself proclaims bullies show up, right? And number 3, his friends and family. Ezra does not know how loyal. Not only does he not even know who he's talking about, but he doesn't even know how loyal his friends and family are. And if his friends and family would abandon him upon being bullied into submission by police.
Lose your life savings and your life's dream.
Life savings and life dreams. Life savings. As far as I'm concerned, life savings is a bunch of fakeness anyways with fiat money. And unless his life savings is in silver bars or some sort of tangible asset, he's not losing anything. He's losing numbers on a screen. It's all perception. He's losing his debt. And there's a lot of stories of people who lose everything and build back and become a lot stronger. Maybe they're gaining something. But he's a judge. You lost.
Everything falls apart for you.
Everything falls
And he's going to lose it. Maybe he would lose it anyways if he had proper legal advice. But
maybe if I was representing him and gave him proper legal advice, he would still lose. So he just created a paradigm at the very last 5 seconds of the video, after talking about losing the whole time, where now if you still lawyer up, you can still lose. Let's just bring that in there right at the end.
he is going to lose it because he followed these charlatans online.
Lost. You followed charlatans online? Guilty.
And so we're having a good laugh about the moon landing because nothing
so
turns
real.
on it. But quite a lot turns on it when you're instructing people on homemade law.
Homemade law. Bad. Instruction. Bad. Guilty. Lose it all.
Here, I'll put us down on or Paul can put us down on the bottom. Paul, thank you, Paul. So this is the front doors, right? This is what you were doing prior to any type of a trespass. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's the front and the back door. So both the entrance and exit,
Right.
I put them on top. Yes.
Right. So as you can see, you've got the no trespassing, and then I believe you've got something similar to my writings, the bottom two. You've got the we essential there, and then you've got my notice liability, and then you've got something similar to it. It looks like to the right of it there.
Yeah,
so that's
correct.
basically putting whoever shows up at that door, they're on notice that if they trespass, obviously, that they're ultimately contracting with you. And this is what we can see what happened recently. Can you talk a little bit about this now?
Okay, so on February the 12th, the health board, well, on the 11th, they gave me, I had to close and they gave me an order. And then they came back on the 12th because I didn't close. They asked me, are you still open? I said, my open sign's on. And they immediately told me that I had to close and I had to put these signs on the door. I could not remove them. I couldn't damage them. I couldn't cover them. So I actually put signs beside them that I can't remember what it says. Something about these signs are not authorized.
Right.
So I put one above the front door and one beside the back door and put arrows to it just to tell people I did not authorize these to be put up.
And this was the first one, February 4th, I believe?
This was with just bylaw, if it's the very first one.
Right.
So there was four short videos in total.
I can get you to read these signs first. Okay. So you can just read those. Go ahead. No, wait. Okay. I'll take pictures of those, and I will come back after you run it. Okay. That's fine. Perfect. Thank you.
Now that one was pretty quick and easy. Just got her to read the signs and she took pictures and said I might have to reattend with the police.
Right.
So sure.
That's terrific.
Fine. 10 after 12, this would be the first visit with the health board.
Once again, how are you? Good. My name's Tony. I'm with the Muskoka District Health Unit. Okay. Did you guys read my signs?
They were on the outside.
They were on the outside of the door. And they're on the inside. Have you read them?
I've read them, yeah.
Okay, so then why are you still here?
I'm just wondering if you're open today, or
Yes, we're open.
Look at the deer in the headlight look.
under the Reopening Ontario Act, you should be closed today.
I am a man, and I'm under common law. You have no jurisdiction over me. So if I have not broken any law, and you can prove that I have caused harm to another man or a woman or property, and you can present them to me, I have not broken any law. So you have no jurisdiction over me.
I'm asking you to close your business. Okay. So I'm verbally asking you, ordering for the Health Protection and Promotion Act that you close, because as of right now,
those are not laws. Those are not laws. Those are mandates, which are guidelines. No, thank you. Unless I've broken a law, I don't need your guys' service here today. So have a good day.
Okay, so you're saying that you're not going to close? Okay.
Are you conducting some tattooing today?
Unless I've broken a law, I don't need your guys' service here.
I don't contract.
I don't have anything else, but credits will do fine.
No, they won't.
Credits will do fine.
No, they won't. What, you think you're some kind of Jedi waving your hand around like that? I'm a Toydarian. My tricks gonna work on me. Only money.
Oh, that's great. So what I would say there, we can just jump on this really quickly, is that the first thing that, and I realize you're doing a great job, Jamie, you've been just dropped into this, like everybody else, you're swimming with a bunch of sharks and you're trying to find the truth as quickly and simply as you can. And I absolutely love your demeanor with these guys. But what you've got to do is when you take control there, remember, they are on your property. So the first thing that you would hit that guy with, you would look to Bob and Susie there, or the two Bobs or the three Bobs that are acting as police officers, and you say to them, you got a verified claim I've trespassed, causing wrong or harm against a man or woman. I require. You never use the word ask. You use the word require. Require means demand. I require you to produce it right now. Where is it? and you don't get off that square, you make them answer that question first. Do you, yes or no, have a verified claim I've caused wrong or harm, trespass against another man or woman? They're going to say no. Say thank you. And you work for, and then you call them by the name of the service corporation they work for, which is the Barrie Police or whatever. Then you say, then I require you to produce the obligation. And you say to them, that means contract upon which you rely that I, a man, have entered into with the people at your service corporation, because you don't have a verified claim of wrong and harm. So you obviously are here because we've got a contract. Produce the contract. And you stand on that square, and then the bylaw officer, you turn to him and you can hit him with the same two things, or the first and foremost thing is say, who are you? Okay. Because you're trespassing on my property right now. I don't know who you are. I believe you work for, can you confirm, the service corporation called Barrie, the municipality? And they're going to say, yes, I do. Great. Produce the obligation. You hit them again, like you just hit Bob and Susie from the other service corporation. Produce the obligation you rely upon being here. Am I in breach of a contract with you? And if he says, no, well, we're asking you. I said, well, you don't ask another man. I'm not your property, right? Unless you all believe here, you've got evidence that you can administrate property without right. Can anybody do that? Right? Get it on film and say, okay, then, well, who here claims that I'm property? Nobody. That's on the record. So if I'm not your property and you can't administrate property without right, for the people, the honorable men and women, men here before me that are acting as police officers, well, then you have to produce the verified claim I've trespassed, or you better have an obligation I have with your service corporation. Otherwise, you got no business coming here talking to me. And as for you that are acting on behalf of this other service corporation, you've got to produce the obligation. And what day was on this on, Jamie?
It's the same day at around 4 o'clock. And by the way, Jamie, if you just want to unmute your microphone.
Hello, remember I was here earlier?
Yep.
I gave you the verbal order and you said you didn't want to close?
Yep.
So I've returned with an official...
Before you go ahead, what was your name?
My name, so it's all on here, and you'll be getting a copy
Okay,
of this.
so your name is Tony.
Sorry, your microphone, if you want to mute it just because it's echoing.
Hang on.
Would you like a business card? Make it easier?
Go ahead, spell it.
Okay, MAKROS as in Sam, TERGIOS. Okay.
Okay, so this is a notice of...
It's great I paused it right here because you actually did on your, you created these own other little documents. It's sort of something like what I did, but you actually had the names, and I really like what you've done there. So I'll just let this finish out, Jamie, and then I'll let you continue on.
Of liability.
Hey, listen, I'm going to do this
I,
first.
man, Jamie of the Russo family, do hereby give you notice of liability. Tony, how do you say your last
Okay,
name?
you know what? That's fine.
Produce written variable evidence
Okay,
with
so
wet signature.
I'm here
Signed
to
immediately
sign
that
to
Jeff
give you the Section
Lehman,
13 order.
a man acting under
This order,
as mayor,
Mr. Russo,
or a
asks
man
you to
under
immediately
his
close
or
the
her
premise.
control. I claim
Immediately
I property.
post these close signs.
Jeff
Okay?
Lehman,
And to comply with
or
all
any man or
provincial
woman under
orders
his
and
control,
regulations.
administer property without right.
The reasons of the order are here. Your notice to
Obligation
appeal is
contract
here.
exists with Service Corporation Barrie, relinquished by rights, produce the variable claim from the man, trespass caused wrong, man or woman, I trespass caused wrong or harm, otherwise do not trespass, trespass fine is set at
Okay,
100,000 per man or woman involved, fines increased to 200,000 after first trespass.
Sure.
I will swear under oath or affirmation that all here is said in truth.
Okay, that's fine. You can leave that
11, 20,
there. So,
21.
Mr. Russo, here's a copy
You have
of
been
your order.
served.
Okay. Here's a copy
Thank
of your
you.
order.
That's great that he said that's fine because he accepted
Okay, you don't
that.
have to actually
contract.
read it because it does have your name and that
Okay.
it's been served upon you. So this is your official order to close. Okay.
Yeah.
So you also have to post these closed red signs on each of your entrance of your business.
Okay, I refuse contract and consent, but you can do what you like with those.
Okay, so these signs.
I just paused it for a second there. See, that would have been a great opportunity right there for other people when they're trying to force this on you. Is this guy giving you an order, Jamie?
I
You understand?
Yeah, he was trying to give me an order.
understand. I comprehend.
That's right. I'll let it play out then to the end. There's only 1:44 left, but this is when you hit them with the order, right? You say, is that an order? Oh, yes, I'm more than happy to accept my order. Boom. Then you give them your fee, right? That's when you hit them with, oh, well, it's $1 a second. And thank you very much for making my day. You're ordering me to shut down my business. I'd be yelling back to staff, hey, everybody, it's dinner's on me tonight, right? We're going out. We're going to have a hell of a party on the town because these people wish to contract with me. And you show them, there's my fee to close my business. $1 a second, Bob or Susie. I think we got one more video here and I'll learn to shut up.
Ready?
Yeah. All right. I noticed that you're still open.
Oh, the open sign's on.
Yeah. So, which is failure to comply with an order. So just a reminder that is a $25,000 per day fine.
You're trespassing again.
Okay, so here's your
I'm the
summons to appear in court.
I'm the living, breathing
That's
man.
for you.
I'm the living, breathing man.
And because
And you
court
don't have
right now
jurisdiction
is
over me.
virtual, I don't work for Barry, so that doesn't apply. There you go.
You can take it in.
Okay, thanks. I'll add it to the rest of them.
Can I get your guys' badge numbers? Names?
772 7476.
Okay, so you said your signs. You said you're still open, right? Open sign is on. Is that what you said? Open.
772. What's your name?
772 Sergeant Fitzgerald.
And how do you spell Fitzgerald?
FITZGERALD.
Just so you know, that is a summons to appear in court.
Can I ask you a question?
Absolutely.
Awesome.
And who are you, sir?
My name is Jeff.
Okay, Jeff.
And actually, this is a question for everybody here. If the government was forcing you into bankruptcy, would you fight back or would you lay down and take it?
That's not a question that is relevant.
Why is it not relevant?
For you.
Okay, so what you're saying is you're fighting back, so you know you're supposed to be closed. Is that my interpretation of the question?
We are fighting a bankruptcy. The government is attempting to force us into bankruptcy. Would you fight back, or
All
would
the
you?
information with respect to what your rights are court-wise and stuff are all in that document there that was provided by this gentleman.
Okay, and
Do you
I mean
have any
it's
questions with respect to the information I served
What was
today?
your name, sir?
Leach, Constable Leach. Badge number 7476.
Is that Jeff, Jeff, or?
Yep.
Sorry,
Last
badge
name,
number?
Jeff?
No last name.
You don't have a last name?
No.
Okay. So do you work here?
Can you from those? Okay, so this is a notice of liability.
Okay. All right, I think we're done.
I am a
All right.
man,
Have a good day, sir.
Jamie.
Thank you, Jamie.
Okay, so God bless Jeff trying to step in there and help and carry the conversation. And again, okay, we have to understand the simplicity of what's going on here. And I mean, no disrespect to Jeff or whatever, but he took the conversation into an area that had no purpose being there. This has nothing to do with whether you're going bankruptcy. It's about people in front of you that are trying to administrate property without right. You do not leave that square. You stand on that square.